Let's see, it should be live. Let me double check because I have not gone live in about 5 months. All right, looks like it is. All right. The reason why I'm live is because I'm having a bunch of issues with my computer, recording equipment. There's some information that we need to discuss, right? And yeah, there's that. I haven't gone live in a while. Also, haven't uploaded in a month. So, let's see. Is there anybody joined in the chat watching? So we got 3 people watching. Shout out to Kingen for Life. Shout out to John Haymaker. What's up, buddy? Recognize that username. You've been around here for a while. Shout out to Kelly as well. All right. So this isn't gonna be very live. I'm sorry. This isn't gonna be very live for very long. Live for very long. I just wanted to discuss this right here, the Aegon show. Now this is interesting. Obviously because it's another spinoff, right? Like it's not. Technically, we have 3 Aegon shows right now, right? Like everybody knows the joke I'm about to make, but it's the truth. We have the Jon Snow show, right? And we also have the Dunk and Egg series, and then we have this Aegon show, which is actually it's not new. It's not new news. I know it seems like that, but it's not. They announced an Aegon show and a movie in 2022, I think. There's so much smoke these days about like smoke. These days about like what shows we're getting. But as of right now, the only one that's been greenlit, aside from House of the Dragon, is the Dunk and Egg series. But I mean, I didn't really feel like pulling it up. But yeah, we had an article that was like, yeah, they're gonna do a Aegon the Conquest movie that will lead into like a mini series, right? Initially, there were some ideas floating around, and at this point, it's been so long I can't remember if it was like fan ideas or if it was like rumors that went along with that news when it came out. It was like they're gonna do Aegon the Conquest movie, and that'll lead into like a Sons of the Dragon TV show. So we'll see what it was like to have the first king of Westeros post Aegon. So that's Aenys, and then after Aenys, Maegor. Really, it should have been Aegon, who would have been Aegon the second, right? But he's killed by Maegor the Cruel. Maegor stole his crown. So that was the idea, is that they're going to do like an Aegon the Conquest movie, and then lead into a Maegor the Cruel slash Aenys slash Sons of the Dragon slash maybe Maegor's Black Brides TV series. Like, that was what they were going to do. And now, this news has come out, which is not even really news. It's extremely disappointing. This article literally didn't even have to be written. I know it sounds like I'm being negative, but it's literally, HBO's partnering with Mattson Tomlin. Hang on. HBO's partnering with Mattson Thompson, whatever this guy's name is. An in-demand scribe who did uncredited work on Matt Reeves' The Batman. Not really impressed with that. I didn't like it that much at all. As a matter of fact, I literally left over halfway through the movie. Out of the movie theater. Anyway, and is co-writing its upcoming sequel to Batman Part 2. Ooh, super excited. I was actually really hyped for that movie, but it sucked. He also wrote the Keanu Reeves action comic adaptation Come on, man. BRZRKR, what is that, Berserker? It's not Berserk like the anime. It's just some, anyway, I sound like a hater, bro. Action comic adaptation Berserker and an animated Terminator series, which he is also show writing for Netflix. Okay, cool. Cool work. Aegon's Conquest is basically a direct prequel to the hit House of the Dragon, telling the story of the Targaryens' bloody and brutal conquest of Westeros. The story follows the invader Aegon Targaryen, who conquered the continent of Westeros with his sister wives, Rhaenys and Visenya, and their dragons. More like their dragons conquered the continent alongside Rhaenys, Visenya, and Aegon. Like, their dragons did all the work, buddy. Aegon successfully unified 6 of the 7 kingdoms in just 2 years, with only Dorne able to successfully resist. And to be honest, let's be real, Dorne, that was the most unsuccessful successful rebellion. People were like, yeah, Dorne resisted. I even catch myself saying it. Oh yeah, Aegon conquered 6 kingdoms, later 7. Dorne wasn't brought into the fold until 100 years later. Right. Technically, they resisted, but they also suffered greatly. Like, during Aegon's conquest, and if we're going to get this in TV series actually happening, we'll get to see it on screen. In 4 AC, I think it is, maybe 8 AC, one of Aegon's sister wives, Rhaenys, dies down there in Dorne, right? The Dornish people put a bolt through her dragon Meraxes' eye and brings the son of a gun to the ground, right? And in doing so, Rhaenys is dead. Potentially, there's rumors that Rhaenys could have. God, I hate addressing this because I've mentioned it so many times. Long story short, there's this at the very end of the war when Aegon's still alive, Aegon the Conqueror, still the crown, still wearing the crown. Dornish, there's like this Dornish party that comes up to him in court and gives him this letter, and then once he sees that letter, he immediately flies a Dragonstone and ends the war with Dorne right after that. And then Dorne is kind of brought into the fold a little bit, but still wars with the Targaryens until this dude named Daeron, the young dragon. It's like 150, almost 200 years or so later after Aegon's conquest, right? But before that, when Rhaenys dies, when they take down her dragon Meraxes, the letter, right? So the reason why people think Rhaenys could still be alive is the idea is like, what would make Aegon immediately end the war, right? Dornish people, the ones that we have experience with in POVs anyway, in the main series is Oberyn. Oberyn likes to poison people, right? And then you get Alaria's POV later on in A Feast for Crows, and she kind of is like a sneaky, snaky, kind of poisony-esque person too, right? Like all of the Sand Snakes, all of Oberyn's daughters are poisoners. So the idea, sort of happens that Rhaenys was probably kept alive. She survived the initial Dragonfall and was being tortured. In that letter that was written to Aegon, it's like, yo, your wife Rhaenys is still alive. We'll kill her. We'll end her life if you end the war, right? So that's a possibility. Maybe Aegon was told something in the letter so that he'd believe it. So it would be like that he would believe that they really do have Rhaenys alive. So maybe Rhaenys included some details that, like, there's this little locket that Aegon gifted her on her 15th name day, and it's in this one box inside Dragonstone, and maybe Aegon was like believed it because only Rhaenys would know this. So maybe he flies to Dragonstone, finds the lock, and he's like, okay, clearly Rhaenys must be alive. She must have been tortured all this time. Maybe they told him something crazy like she remarried a Dornish person, because one of the things that we find out about this lady is that she loves singers and musicians. And that from the information we get, it kind of seems like Aegon loves Rhaenys. We're told that Rhaenys loves him back, but also if you love somebody, you wouldn't keep handsome men around you all the time. So it's probably more like Aegon Aegon loved Rhaenys, but Rhaenys kind of was like, yeah, he's a cool dick. Like, I'll hop on his penis every once in a while, but she just like preferred to be free-spirited. So maybe she didn't love him so much. And because of that, maybe when she was held prisoner in Dorne, she ended up being romanced by one of the Dornish dudes. And that was the information that was included in the letter. And Aegon was like, if it's going to make her happy, I'm going to stop messing up Dorne because I keep jumping around. I'm all over the place. But after Rhaenys goes down, Aegon and his other sister wife, Visenya, literally burn all of Dorne for like the next 10 years. They just, every few months, they'll go through and burn an entire town in Dorne for a long time. Like, they literally burned down Dorne into, like, just smoke and ashes, right? And then eventually, that event that I just talked about where the Dornish court comes up and gives Aegon the letter, it's after this one monarch who rules in Dorne that's known as this, like, Yellow Toad. After she dies, one of her grandsons ends up making peace with Aegon. But it's kind of crazy. Like, people will say crap like, oh, yeah, Aegon united the 7 kingdoms. No, his dragon did that. And they'll say stuff like, Dorne rebelled against the dragons. Not really. They got utterly screwed over. Like they got roasted. So many of them died. But yeah, I guess they didn't technically be ruled by Aegon. So anyway, getting back on track here. The non-news, right? One source described the project as taking a back-to-basics approach to George R. R. Martin's epic fantasy universe. Though considering the first series was sprawling and complex, it's unclear what back to the basics means exactly in the Thrones context. Variety previously reported Aegon's conquest as an idea in discussion early last year. Right? Since Thrones concluded in 2019, there have been many prequels put into development, and some are considered no longer active. Though HBO prefers not to say any option is completely off the table, as there's always the chance a once promising idea could be redeveloped under a different writer. The efforts have spawned 2 greenlit shows: House of the Dragon, which launches its 2nd season this summer, whoop whoop, and Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight. God, that's a mouthful. Which starts production this year and is based on Martin's Dunk and Egg novellas. HBO had no comment. All right, so HBO with their no commenting, but keep it short and sweet here on this section. I don't know what the back to basics approach could mean. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that House of the Dragon, right? That section in Fire and Blood, the Dance of the Dragons, involves obviously like 50 some odd named characters that play a role, but also the story revolves around a large cast of people, right? And that large cast of people are all over the place. Very similar to what happens with Game of Thrones almost immediately after the first season. All of the characters spread out through all over the known world. But at its central core, it was kind of always about the Starks. So maybe that back to basics approach is going to be focusing on just the Targaryens, as opposed to the Targaryens and their allies and their husbands and then their offspring, like Rhaenyra with her kids and Alicent with his kids with Viserys, right? Maybe that's what they mean. It'll be focused mostly on Aegon, Visenya, and Rhaenys, and I don't know. I don't even know what the fuck that means. It's kind of what the hell is back to basics? There's literally nothing basic about the Game of Thrones. I don't know what that even means. But here, let's do this. Oh wait, I didn't mean to do that. Let's do this. Let's see. Now, I did pre-select these questions because, like I mentioned, the only reason why I'm doing this live stream is because I'm having issues with my recording software. I just haven't used my PC in such a long time that it needs a bunch of different updates. I tried doing just like the basic ones that I need from video drivers and all that good stuff, but that didn't happen. So, yeah, you guys are stuck with seeing my face. Although I could turn the camera off if you want. Sorry, just trying to get this part ready. All right, cool. So this question, yeah, you know what? I'm going to do that. So just for this part, send me a $5 super chat if you want to see my face. No, I'm just kidding. Don't send me any super chats. I'm just kidding. So this question is from Ant_boy_spice 4400. He says, if they have the Blacks taking King's Landing in season 2 and only 8 episodes, it's crazy rushed. Like, basically, if the Blacks take King's Landing, so if Rhaenyra takes King's Landing at the end of House of the Dragon season 2 and it's only 8 episodes, it's going to seem crazy rushed. Maybe, and it may seem rushed until you realize this entire story is rushed in the sense that, takes place over the course of a year. Like it starts towards the end of 129 AC and then ends very quickly in like 130 AC. Most of the war takes place in 6 to 9 months. Like, I'm not even kidding you. So the fact that it kind of seems rushed for the TV show, at least in your opinion, is perfect. That means they're doing a good adaptation. The whole point of this story is that the Targaryens, in a very short period of time, reduced themselves to a regular house. Right? They had all these dragons. They had all these dragon riders. They had all these potential heirs, all these potential all these potential rulers. But then in a matter of a year, they wiped themselves out. They did a big dumb move, right? And I just decided to put my face back in. But they did it. They just did a stupid thing. And they literally wiped themselves out in the course of a year. And that's the whole central point of that part of the Dance of Dragons. It's like within that short amount of time, they were a level 10 in a power ranking scale system. And then post that 1 year's time, there was only a few dragons that survived. One of them was so small, it never grew to full maturity. Another one just sort of disappears. And then one of them becomes a wild dragon, not even really affiliated with the dragons, ridden by Nettles. Sheepstealer becomes a red witch in the dang mountains of the moon, right? So that's the whole point of the story, is like these events happen one after the other. Rhaenyra taking King's Landing should, in my opinion, happen in episode 7. Because then we'll get a whole episode of her sitting on the throne. And when she kills Sir Otto, it would be cool. Right? Because we all know Daemon is killing him. I don't know if it'll be this season. Most likely will. Episode 5 of the Season 2 leaks will be dropping within the next week. That would have been out today and been finished. I don't know. Actually, no, it wouldn't have. Would have been out last week, but had some issues. So, yeah. I don't think this season is rushed. I would have liked 10 episodes. Obviously, everybody would have liked 10 episodes. But it really should not end any earlier than Rhaenyra taking King's Landing. Like, the Battle of the Gullet got pushed back to Season 3. So, in story canon, Rhaenyra wouldn't take King's Landing until after the Battle of the Gullet. So, that means she wouldn't take it until Season 3. And that's too long, right? That means she would hold it for less than half of Season 3. Like, she wouldn't have it for very long in Season 3 because she has to, by the end of Season 3 and the setup for Season 4, it has to be known on screen to the average show watcher that Rhaenyra's grip on King's Landing is lost, right? It's cutting her. The throne is cutting her. All of her policies are making the citizens that loved her, right? The citizens of King's Landing that loved her, all of her policies turn them against her. So you have to see that play out, and it's not enough time if she's not on the Iron Throne by the end of Season 2. Like I said, I prefer it to happen in episode 7. It'd be cool because then we'd have a whole episode of seeing her policies being enacted, or maybe, just things that we'd have to wait a whole another 2 years to see for House of the Dragon Season 3 when it comes out. This is getting absurd. I thought for sure, right, that we would have a release date by now, maybe another trailer, maybe a full trailer, like an official trailer to go alongside the teaser trailer. I thought, for damn sure, I thought they wouldn't be doing reshoots in February. Hey, dingbats, you finished filming in October. Why in the would you wait till February to do reshoots? Although I will tell you, no one's put any images of these supposed reshoots out on the internet. It's not Redanian Intelligence reported it, but there's literally no pictures of it. So if they're filming indoors, it must have been a quick pickup scene, and it wasn't 2 weeks like the initial reports listed, and maybe it was just a day or two. But my original point still stands. If you finish filming in October, why in the would you wait till February? Come on, y'all. You had, November, December, January. Here we are in February. You had 3 other months you could have been doing that in. No one needs a 2-month vacation for the holidays. I mean, no one needs a random month off from their job where they just don't upload content. No one needs that. What could possibly make someone want to do that? I'm just kidding. Yeah, the world's crazy right now. Okay, the next question. By the way, thank you, Ant Boy Spice, for leaving that comment. But yeah, to summarize, I don't think it's rushed. I think it's actually perfect in Season 2. The next comment comes from Craig Mills, 6275, and he says, this one's funny. I just included it because it's funny. He says, I'll bet you 5,000 United States dollars. Wow. Isn't out until George's estate puts it out. Okay, so check this out. buddy. You said wow and not Winds of Winter. So technically, you can send the $5,000 to @Sir_Hunts on the Cash App because World of Warcraft is out. It has been out. And George's estate has nothing to do with it. Jackass. I'm just, I said a curse word. It's going to get demonetized. But yeah, no. To seriously answer the question, I mean, aside from the bet part, like, I'll take you on that bet. I think Winds of Winter will be put out by George himself. I just think it's going to be, like, anywhere from 1 to 15 years from now. Like, yeah, I'm done predicting release dates for that. It's not... I mean, come on, y'all. Like, let's be for real. I'm somebody that is always defending this dude. I'm like, yeah, George, he's taking his time. It's going to take a while. But I've read A Song of Ice and Fire 11 times plus now. I've literally lost track how many times I've read the books and re-listened to the audiobooks. I don't even know how many times I've lost track. I literally lost track of how many times I listened to it. But because of that, it's not hard. It's like I used to be like, oh, it's just going to take him so long. It's very overwhelming and it's stressful. And he needs to take his time to get it perfect. No, it's a book. He wrote 5 of them other ones. He can write this one. He can put it out. It's not hard. It's 1. You put out 5, put out the 1. It's not hard. I'm done defending that. It's silly. It's crazy to think that the reason why it's taking so long is because it's so complex and... Yeah, it is. It's overwhelming when you read it the first 7 times, but then once you cross over that 7th reread, you're like, oh yeah, this is totally possible. You're going for, right, a king in the north, a king in the south, and a balance between the seasons. All of these people that you've built up to be important superheroes are going to be nothing. They're all going to die in the end. Jon Snow's probably not going to come back, and Daenerys will be killed before she can do anything of great importance. It's her dragons that are going to be used to... live out her legacy or whatever the hell. Like, it's not that hard. A Song of Ice and Fire is amazing. It's my favorite book series, but I've gotten to the point where I could now see... I'm starting to see flaws in the writing. So, yeah. I mean, whatever. I'll bet you $5,000 that Winds of Winter is out. And George's estate doesn't put it out. I think it'll be out for anywhere from 1 to 15 years from now. Mark that down. I've been doing this on YouTube for 10 years. It'll be 10 years, 2 years from now. So I've been doing this for 8 years. But yeah. Shout out Dennis Sorensen. What's up, my buddy? Oh, snap. We got 40 people watching. All right, cool. So let me do a quick shout out. Shout out to King for Life, John Haymaker, Kelly, Janet Smith, Migrant Ravis, Brandon Dillett, Nikos, Tracheles. Sorry if I butchered that. You sound Greek as hell. Melissa Porter, Dogs Eat Birds. A Woods Targaryen Loyalist. Muhammad Akrut, Max Trudeau, related to the Canadian Prime Minister. Kolnitsky, Kate Hartley, Shimp Hemp, Gel Justice, Dennis Sorensen. Double shout out, my boy. I think that's it. I got everybody else. But yeah. The next question that I want to discuss is from a user named Shade of the Evening. Love that username. Shout out. She says, he or she or they says, Alicent, let Aegon be a SHIT. Now she wants to control him. Like the eye roll emoji. I mean, yeah. Okay, so technically, when you have a person who acts like Aegon, that's a lack of a father. It's a lack of a parenting for sure, but it's a lack of a father, right? And it's also a lack of a mother because you don't respect women. You have to respect women. You get taught that from your mom. Speaking from personal experience, the scar on my head is from disrespecting women. So, I had to learn the hard way. My mama didn't teach me. So yeah, no. Like, the actions that Aegon, I think, is most hated for are a direct result of his father not parenting him. right? And then there's also all the memes. Like, you'll see the person in the pool holding up the one kid, and then the other kid, they're drowning. And then you got the person in the skeleton in the chair. You've seen that meme, right? And it's always King Viserys holding up Rhaenyra. And then the three kids under the ground, or under the water, Helena, Aemond, and Aegon, right? So I think it's pretty well known that King Viserys favored Rhaenyra and put most of his parental energy into Rhaenyra because that's his heir. So the only other guidance Aegon was given was violence. Like his grandpa, Sir Otto, would smack the shit out of him. Like, remember, oh dang it, I cursed. Well, there goes demonetization. You know what? I don't even think this is monetized to begin with. I don't even think I monetized it to begin with. But yeah, remember when Sir Otto smacks him when he's drunk and I think it was when he's still played by Ty Tennant, I think was his name, before Tom Glencarney played him, right? But not when he was at the little baby, right? When he's at Lena's funeral and he's getting drunk and he's like taking all those cups of wine from the serving lady, and she's like looking at him like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know what I mean? Like that's like how he gets parented. And then also the times his dad, King Viserys, does parent him, it's the same thing. He gets smacked. Like, remember when Lena's dragon is stolen by Aemond, and Aemond makes the claim that Rhaenyra's children are bastards, and everyone knows this. And he's like, where'd you hear it from? And he's like, Aegon. And Aegon's like, where'd you hear that from? And Aegon, instead of saying, oh, I heard it from my mom, it's like, he's saying like, oh, it's pretty well known that everybody knows this. That's not, I mean, look at their hair. Look at our hair, right? Like, that's not exactly what he says, but like he's making a pretty decent point. Like, he doesn't care that her kids are bastards, but don't punish him for saying the obvious truth. He's such a bad father. He's like, man, shut up. He's like believed his own lies. Like his own lies being that Rhaenyra's kids weren't bastards. He believed his own lies. And then he struck Aegon for that, right? So, the whole while I'm watching House of the Dragon Season 1, I'm like, man, this dude Aegon, whatever he does is kind of like, they're making him seem kind of, not necessarily justified, but you can kind of be like, oh, okay, well, he's going to turn into a bad person. He doesn't have the best, the best upbringing to become a stable adult and then to be a functioning member of society, potentially a good king and ruler, right? You look at how he's growing up. But yeah, to get back to your question, Alicent didn't necessarily let Aegon be a pooper herself. She definitely played a hand in it, but it's more so King Viserys. That's where holes in the writing come up too, because Alicent supposedly didn't know about her son Aegon being the real candidate. Like, remember in the Green Council when they usurp Rhaenyra's throne and they're like locking all these people down that are loyal to Rhaenyra, and they're like, oh, no. The king wanted his son Aegon. Like, that kind of didn't make sense because also, whatever. I'm not going to jump into the holes in the writing, but yeah, it's just like, I don't necessarily think that Alicent was the only one that let Aegon turn into who he is. I think it was a bit of a group effort. He was failed by multiple people. He was failed by his grandfather, right, who should have. That's another thing too, is like, how crappy of a person is Sir Otto, right? He doesn't even see how shitty, like how dumb of a candidate Aegon is, even though he should know. He's not paying attention, even though he should literally know. This king is going around taking liberties with any women he wants to. He's drunken. He literally ran when you wanted him to be the king. Sir Otto's a dimwit, and he should not ever be compared to Tywin Lannister in that sense, because he let it happen. He chose this inferior person to be the ruler just because he didn't like Daemon, right? Like, do you really, like, obviously you could go, oh, well, he knew he would be able to control Aegon, right? And like, he'd be able to manipulate Aegon, and that's why he wanted him to be in power, whatever. But really, it's like, no, like, you should have spent more time seasoning this dude, Aegon, right, to become a better ruler. Kind of like what Tywin tried to do in a very backhanded way with Tyrion. It's like by telling him no more whores. Stop dating whores. Not that having sex is bad. No, but being a lustful, spiteful little envious creature is bad. It looks bad for House Lannister, and also, more importantly, it looks bad for the people at court. They're gonna be like, look at this dwarf midget person, right? Who's like basically being an envious little like doesn't care, doesn't give a crap about nobody, doesn't have a wife, he's just whoring around, right? Like, its public image is kind of everything back then, because it could literally be the downfall of your house. So Tywin is the worst person ever, right? What he did was wrong. What he did, the way that he did it to Tyrion, obviously what he did to Tysha was awful, right? Terrible. But the idea was that, like, he would still try to, he basically puts Joffrey in his place really quickly. And also, I think he played a hand with Olenna Tyrell to get rid of Joffrey, because he knows Joffrey's a terrible ruler, right? Whereas Sir Otto is kind of like, no, I'm just going to not prepare Aegon at all. I'm just going to let him turn into this crappy little dolt. Even though he knows Aemond would be a better candidate for the throne. He's like, whatever. I don't know how I got down that tangent. Super chat from Kate Hart. Thank you for that. Says, sorry someone hit you. That ain't right. Yeah, but what I was doing wasn't right either. Long story short, I was dating somebody, cheated on her with her best friend, and then after we broke up, thought it would be cool to go and sell her some bud, and then I did that, and she got me jumped, but I fought back. So if I hadn't fought back, this probably wouldn't have happened. But anyway, whatever. So the next question is from, let's see, a user named, and I think this is the last one that I had pooled. Yes, it is. This is from a user named Sita6968, and they said, the dude next to Daemon is credited as Captain Randall Barrett. Right. So before I get too sidetracked, I wanted to change this up, because it's getting kind of boring. Ooh, we're going into Ice World now. It's the winter time. But yeah, so this is in response to, I think it was from one of the leaked videos that I did. I thought the dude that Daemon is with in the first episode, like basically Daemon's introduction, when he's walking through the streets of King's Landing, I thought that character was going to be Sir Luther Largent, who ends up betraying, so to speak, because the Greens are the ones who betrayed Rhaenyra. So really, he's just staying loyal to Daemon. But I thought that would be Luther Largent, but it's not. So that's what this comment is for. And that's kind of a weak one. So I think what I'm going to do is do this. You guys see this? Oh, no, you can't. Crap, hang on. Sorry, give me a second. Glee! Glee, fog, glee! Wait, why is it showing comments from a year ago? What the heck? Okay, so I'm not going to be able to show you guys this. I do apologize. This was silly. Oh, wait, you can see it. Okay, cool. All right, cool. I can show you guys this. All right, awesome. Okay, so let's see. I'm replacing that last comment because it was kind of just like not necessarily. Okay, here we go. This is from Lala Catio. I just hope we get to see as much dragon scenes as we can, and hopefully they don't get cut off by some random unnecessary human intervention. Wait, what? I just hope we get to see as much dragon scenes as we can. Oh, you're talking about the Rook's Rest battle, because that is from an episode 4 comment. So yeah, I agree with that. I think, and I honestly think we're safe in that sense. Like, they're probably Rook's Rest, if I had to guess, the entire budget for, not the entire budget, but most of the budget, if not the entire budget for that one episode, was spent on the CGI elements, right? Obviously there's a battle that's happening on below and underneath, but we saw them filming that, right? There's a bunch of images. As a matter of fact, here, let me pull up this image of some of the filming for Rook's Rest. It was intense. There's this guy. I love seeing this guy. This guy had a bad day, man. He had his face burned off, right? But, like, we also have... This is so annoying to add an image through this software. It should be way smoother. Like, Rook's Rest is going to be nuts. This battle is going to be crazy, right? Let me get one more image that will showcase how it really looks. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, there we go. Come on, move out of the way. Dumb window. But yeah, there, I'll put me right here. Me and Damon, my boy Damon. That is done by an artist named Jay Fox out of the UK. He's amazing. Go grab you a painting. He's doing open commissions right now. One of my patron members, Pebbles83, has grabbed an amazing painting from him. He did it's the war table, the war scene from episode 10, season 1. All of the silhouettes of the people around on Rhaenyra's Black Council around the table with the actual Westerosi Aegon's painted table in the center. Looks awesome. Go check it out. Once again, that's Jay Fox art, my man. But yeah, Rook's Rest is going to be nuts. Like, look at these images. This is crazy. This is pretty intense. Like, it's very pixelated. It doesn't look that great, but you can literally see about 400 people in this image. Several hundred people, right? So you've got the greens facing off against the blacks on the bottom. Basically what happens, in short, in Rook's Rest is, like, Rook's Rest is one of the closest castles that's in the Crown Lands, right? Like, it's literally, you have King's Landing here. You'll have Dragonstone right here. Wait, can y'all see my hands? Okay. King's Landing here. Dragonstone here. Rook's Rest is off to the north, but almost literally in between those two locations. So, I think in episode 2, but basically in canon, the Greens send out a foraging party and a raiding party, and they start immediately attacking all of Rhaenyra's allies that are close to her. One of them is Rook's Rest. Rook's Rest is extremely close. They're in the Crown Lands. A lot of the people that are close to the Crown Lands, not a lot of them, but a good chunk of them, actually usurp Rhaenyra and, like, start pledging fealty to the Greens. So those dudes are kind of okay. But the ones that are still loyal to Rhaenyra, the holdouts, areas like Rook's Rest, right? And there's another location, whatever. Areas like Rook's Rest are held out. They're still loyal to Rhaenyra. So the Greens are attacking them terribly. They're burning and killing all their people, right? So they send out messages to Rhaenyra. And now, in Fire and Blood, when this happens, Rhaenyra just lost her son Lucerys. She does not want anything to do with the war. Not only did she lose her son Lucerys, right, but she also had a miscarriage with Visenya, and she lost her father right before then. And, like, even though it seems like Rhaenyra and Viserys had a falling out on the TV show, that's not the case in the books. In the books, she, like, he's very much, like, obviously Rhaenyra has fallen outs with Alicent and the Queen's party, right? She's the princess party, but she has fallen outs with them, but not so much with her dad. Her dad is like her number one best friend, right? So when he dies, and then along with her miscarriage, and then along with her son dying immediately, right? She's like, fuck this war. I don't want nothing to do with it. She's absent, right? So during that time is when Rook's Rest sends a letter to Dragonstone. They're like, yo, dude, please come and help us. We're loyal to you. And Rhaenyra, obviously being she's absconded herself from taking part in the war. Rhaenys steps up. Rhaenys is like, yeah, I got this. Sit down, don't worry, right? She flies off to Rook's Rest, and she's like, it's probably just one dragon. I got this. My dragon Meleys is the third largest right now. I think, obviously, Vhagar, Caraxes, Meleys. Meleys is... Yeah, I think Meleys is technically bigger than Caraxes. But anyway, she knows her dragon is very few of dragons can oppose her, right? So when she gets there, it's a trap. And she realizes that it's a trap. She willingly is like, yo, I'm okay with this. I'm going to die. I've accepted death, and it's okay. I'm going to play my part in this war, right? So the line goes something like, she gives out a glad crack of the whip and goes, you know, like flies into battle, right? That was a crazy, terrible sound. Sorry you guys had to hear that. But yeah, Rook's Rest is going to be nuts. I don't even remember how we got to talking about this. Or, oh yeah, that question. What was that question? Let me bring that back. Oh yeah, it's like they were saying, we hope we get full out dragon battle, no human interaction. So there will be probably like, oh shit, Jay Fox is in the chat. What's up, buddy? Will it let me pin his chat? Because I'm not signed into the chat technically. Let me see if I can do it from my phone. Jay Fox is in the chat right now. So what's up, man? Make sure y'all go follow this man. I don't know if he pin message. I don't know if he started uploading videos to his YouTube channel, but I remember he was talking. I think we were discussing him was gonna start recording some of his stuff, maybe. I don't know. But either way, go follow this dude on Instagram as well. And James, your commissions is still open, right? Are you still taking commissions? If so, request a painting from this man. I would get something of Aegon. King Aegon II gets no love, right? Everybody's Blacks fans. Everybody loves Rhaenyra. Everybody loves Daemon, right? But personally, I would get something of Aemond and Aegon. Maybe like, remember that scene of them holding each other? Like where Aemond is, in episode 9, having to chase down his brother to become a king. He's like, got him in a bit of a headlock and they're struggling back and forth. I would request something like that if I was going to get a painting from him. Sorry, I just shook the whole, my whole frog tank, and he jumped up like, nigga, what the fuck you doing? All right, cool. So, yeah, Rook's Rest is going to be nuts. I think we're going to get large chunks of screen time of uninterrupted dragon fighting on screen with no humans to break it up, so to speak, except for the humans that are riding them. Rhaenys, Aemond, Aegon. It'll be interesting to see how they do the show's version of Rook's Rest, because Rhaenyra's playing more of an active role, so she's going to go to Storm's Inn to actually find the remains of her son or her son's dragon. Like, we know that's going to happen. Because of that, she could technically show up to Rook's Rest to maybe give a speech, but then maybe she holds back from joining the battle or something because she thinks that it would be easy for Rhaenys to take her. I don't know. There's a possibility that the beginning of Rook's Rest, or how Rook's Rest comes about, the events that cause it, right, could be slightly different. It's also possible that they do something completely out of left field and maybe even have Rhaenyra fight in the Rook's Rest battle, but she just doesn't get injured or anything, so it doesn't actually affect the outcome of the story. I don't know. We'll see. And then another question, and this will probably be the last one because we're right at 45 minutes. I was right where I wanted to cap this off at. This is from a user named Kavoth the Bloodless. Love that username. Shout out, dude. I know you've been watching me for a while. I'm a big fan of the King Killer Chronicles. He says, no, just no. The Jon Snow show must be live action. This is in reference to the Jon Snow, potentially an animated series coming down the pipeline with the Corliss the Sea Snake show being made animation. I thought it would be possible for them to make the Jon Snow show an animation series. But anyway, he goes, sure, I'd watch it. I'd watch anything from this world, but I'd hate it compared to live action. 9 voyages is one thing, and it makes sense, but not the Jon Snow show. Absolutely freaking not. Love you, bro. I mean, yeah, I kind of agree. I kind of had that sentiment in the video. Like, I thought it would be smarter for them to do maybe the lesser known stuff. So, like, that's the 9 voyages is one. It would have been cool to see live action, but it just makes a lot of sense. Corliss does a lot of traveling to a lot of different places that would be way too expensive, especially when you spend such a short period of time in those locations. So it'd be like they build this massive set for when he goes to Yeti and sees Sunchaser, which are technically Daenerys' 3 dragon eggs that were stolen during the time of King... the old King Jaehaerys, right? The old guy from the first episode, the first scene of this show, right? Technically, the eggs that Daenerys has that she gets over in Essos, the fossilized ones, were stolen. And I don't remember, it's like 87 AC or something. It's during the reign of Jaehaerys, but they're stolen by Alyssa Farman, and she's got a lesbian love affair with King Jaehaerys' older sister, Rhaena. And she just steals them because they sort of get into a tryst. Alyssa Farman wants to go away and like leave the Seven Kingdoms, and obviously Rhaena's a Targaryen. She doesn't want to do that. She has a dragon. She can go anywhere she wants to. So they sort of break up, and Alyssa Farman takes 3 dragon eggs from the crypts at, well, not the crypts, the Dragon Mount, and sails off with them. She ends up selling them to Sea Lord and Bravos, and she buys a ship called the Sunchaser. It's the fastest ship ever made at that time, and she sails it all the way around the world. And when Corliss, decades later, is sailing around the world, he sees a torn, battered down Sunchaser in a in a shipyard at Asshai. So that's really cool. But just imagine, they build Asshai, which is this literally nuclear fallout set in a fantastical universe. They build that crazy set, and then the next episode, Corliss is gone. He's in an entirely different location. Looks nothing like that. It would be materialistically impossible to pull off because they would need an insane amount of money to do it live action. So it makes sense. Cartoon it up, dog. Hire some animators. Make it look the coolest ever. Give us everything George puts in his books, but in a visual medium that's way cheaper to do it on. Cheaper in the sense that you don't have to build all this stuff. Like, obviously, people, this is annoying as hell. Somebody's always got to comment against whatever you have to comment. But I feel like traditionally, animation has been far less expensive than making an actual movie. Now, I think back in the day when they're doing like Shrek or some crap, and Shrek, the first Shrek, it's like originally it was played by Chris Farley or something, and like that movie took like 10 years to make, or like the original Toy Story took an insane amount of time. Not anymore. That's not the case anymore. A lot of the animation studios are opting for like the CGI, complete CGI. Like none of the stuff was ever drawn on pen and pad and then upscaled or uploaded or whatever the animation process is. It was never quite like that nowadays. I see very few pencil drawn anime shows and stuff. Like it's all like that weird CGI art style. So yeah, dude, do it up, make it look amazing. Do the sea snake like that, but do not do that to the Jon Snow show. Kit Harington is Jon Snow. You can't. It would be weird as hell to do an animated Jon Snow series to continue on, from the main Game of Thrones series. To be completely fair, like I mentioned in that video, I'd still watch it. I'd watch anything. Like the commenter says, I'd watch anything from this universe. Of course, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm probably going to like it, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to love it. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be completely satisfied like last night when I was having sex, right? Like, that's not a guarantee, but it's definitely an interest there. It's just, I will say this, wrapping this whole live stream up, getting back to like talking about the, here, let me make this disappear. Talking about the spin-off stuff with like, the Aegon series coming and all that, those good things. Man, I'm ugly. And I got fat too. I put on like 25 pounds. I bet you don't even notice that. It's like, give us something. Right now, we've just had one show come out. Like, I know they greenlit one season of the Dunk and Egg series, but they haven't even started filming that yet. They haven't even announced castings yet. They're supposed to start in March, but that was delayed. House of Dragon was likely delayed. The saying, I learned it from A Song of Ice and Fire, where there's smoke, there's fire. And there's too much smoke in these A Song of Ice and Fire spinoffs for there to not be fire somewhere, right? It'd be cool to get Like, the original plan was to do an Aegon the Conqueror movie, do a full-out 2-hour movie, lead that into a Sons of the Dragon series, where we see the very next two successive rulers, Aenys and then Maegor the Cruel, make the show ultimately about Maegor and his black brides. He marries a bunch of black women. Just kidding. I don't know why it's so funny to me. Like, Maegor's like, yeah, I love them brown women. Bring them up here with them big old brown titties and big asses. But yeah, no. Like, that's what I thought the idea was for the Aegon show. And then also, there's 1,000 people, thousands, tens of thousands of people online who are like, I don't want the Aegon show. We just saw Aegon with Daenerys. It'll be too similar. Like, they were like, give us Robert's Rebellion or give us a Blackfire series. And there's actually still people saying to give us a Blackfire series. Hey, let me smack the crap out of you people. Not responding to your comments, but this is my response to those comments of people still asking for a Blackfire Rebellion series. Dummy! Dunk and Egg is the Blackfire Rebellion series, you jackasses. It literally picks up a few years after the second Blackfire Rebellion. It's in the middle of them. There's not going to be one that focuses on the first one, right? The duel between Bloodraven and the Black Knights. That's not going to happen because they would probably do that in the Dunk and Egg series. They're going to make a new show just to show the Blackfire Rebellions. That's what the Dunk and Egg series is. I can't believe people are saying that. It's like, tell me you've never read even the wiki pages. Because the wiki page literally mentions Dunk and Egg takes place during the rebellions. Bloodraven, very much a sorcerer, right, is in power during this time. He has the most power during this time. Like, okay, let me give you an example. Is the second book? Or is it the third one? Oh, this is embarrassing. The Mystery Knight. The third one literally involves a Blackfire Rebellion, albeit a small one, albeit it's not very successful, but it literally involves it, okay? Mystery Knight, third book in the Hedge Knight series. Dunk and Egg, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, the Hedge Knight, Season 1, coming at you soon, featuring the Blackfire Rebellions. The first one is probably the most interesting one, but to be fair, they could do flashbacks. Maybe they start off the series with an extended hour-and-a-half long episode that sets up the Blackfire Rebellions. Normally, before House of the Dragon came out, I would say no, they don't like doing flashbacks because Dan and Dave literally were like, we don't like doing flashbacks. Everything you need to know about the story should be told in the present. We don't like flashbacks. Then they go on to do flashbacks in season 6. Greatest joke ever. I love Dan and Dave. They're awesome, man. I hope they do good on that Chinese series that's coming out. It looks awesome. I know there's people saying that the Chinese version one is better. No, it's not. The Netflix one will be better. I tried watching the three-body Chinese version of the three-body problem. Not a big fan of it. But anyway, I mean, I'm just being brutally honest. Netflix put more money into it. I've never watched anything from China and been blown away by it, where it's like, I'm going to say, oh yeah, that's better than the American version. No, that's just foolish. Americans, as dumb as we are, as stupid as we are, we got, like, media and entertainment pretty locked down. Like, most of the greatest movies come from America. Most of the greatest TV shows come from America. Most of the greatest books come from America. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, why is America so great? I don't know. I don't know. We just have creative freedom. I'm just kidding. Obviously, I'm talking. That's why I'm laughing the whole time. But yeah, Americans come up with the best. I forgot what we were talking about. It's gonna be a good point to wrap this live stream up. Dunk and Egg series is the Blackfire Rebellion series. Just to let everybody know, we are getting that. Please go follow USA. Yes. Please go follow my boy J Fox on Instagram. Obviously, America is number one. It's now turned into a propaganda show. No, I'm just kidding. This was a lot of fun. I needed this. I don't know. It's a weird feeling you get after you do a live stream. It's like I've only been talking like to myself, to a camera, right? To also you guys have been interacting with the chat and stuff, but there's a feeling of elation you get after doing that. I guess it would be similar to going to talk to someone, like a therapist, because they don't necessarily talk back or interject all that too often. They kind of want you to tell your, your whatever, right? Your what's egging you, what's bothering you, and I think that feeling after doing a live stream is similar to that, because I feel like I just got a bunch of shit off my chest, and you guys are the best listeners because I can't hear what you're saying back. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If good, please slap a like on this. No. Who wrote that? Please don't write that in my chat. USA number 1, then English UK, all of our allies number 2. I'm just kidding, dude. Y'all know I don't get political. Whatever. I hate politics. That's pretty clear. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. This was a lot of fun. The next one will be probably after we get the next trailer for House of the Dragon Season 2. And then when the show comes out, I go live every Sunday right after the episode premieres. And I'm going to be continuing that. And that'll be literally the most fun time, because it's like, obviously it's fun for me to have people watching me and all that stuff, and like people are watching my videos or whatever. But when the memes are being created for when a moment happens in an episode, or like when something just breaks, like when the first time everyone's watching it, that feeling is amazing. And I think that makes my live streams after those shows, after the episode live streams, those are a lot better than my normal live streams, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Along Nights, Out Threezos, Blue Dar, Ixos, Daor. The next long format live stream video is going to be actually focusing on the Blackfire Rebellions, because that was requested by Brian Johnson, who's one of my Dragon Knight tier patron members. And then also halfway through that, so it'll probably be about 45 minutes total, so 20 minutes on the Blackfire Rebellion, and then another 15 to 20 minutes on about what the prequel, or sorry, not what the prequel, what the pilot would look like for the original Game of Thrones series. That was also requested by another Dragon Knight tier member on my Patreon. And I think I'm actually going to talk about some of those images that we got from the Blood Moon pilot. The lady who's really famous, whose name I can't remember right now, the makeup artist who did her makeup for this show, released Claire Danes. She was in Godzilla, the 2005 one, with Jack Black. Naomi Campbell. Naomi Rapace. No. I don't know what her name is. I'm sorry. But yeah, that'd be cool. I'll probably talk about that too. But thank you.